I call to order this meeting of the Gladstone City Council for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 6:31 p.m. The City of Gladstone is abiding by guidelines set forth in House Bill 2560, which requires the governing body of the public body, to the extent reasonably possible, to make all meetings accessible remotely through technological means and provide opportunity for members of the general public to remotely submit oral and written testimony during meetings to the extent that in-person oral and written testimony is allowed. Therefore, this meeting will be open to the public both in person and virtually using the Zoom platform. The instructions are on the printed agenda. If members of the public would like to comment on an agenda item, either virtually or in person, please email your comments to the city prior to noon on the meeting day. Individuals attending in person may submit a speaker card to the city recorder prior to the beginning of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. We will also have Gladstone City event announcements during the meeting, and then public comment we refer to as business from the audience at the end of the meeting. Next Monday, June 19th, marks our second observance here in Gladstone of the federal holiday known as Juneteenth, which celebrates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in 1863, news of which did not reach parts of the southwest part of the United States until June 19th, 1865. Juneteenth has a special meaning to Black and African Americans and has been celebrated for over 150 years. The Gladstone City Council adopted resolution number 1194 by unanimous vote on June 8th, 2021, declaring Juneteenth an annual legal holiday in Gladstone. Juneteenth is a day of reflection and a day of renewal. It is a moment in time to appreciate not only the Black and African American experience, but it is inclusive of all races, ethnicities, and nationalities. Juneteenth is a day that we can come together as a community to listen, to learn, to refresh the drive to achieve. It is a day where we can come one step closer to better utilizing the energy wasted on racism and instead to cultivate knowledge and appreciation of Black and African American history and culture. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee.
Present.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Reichel.
Present.
Counselor Cook.
Present.
Counselor Roberts.
Present.
Counselor Garlington.
Present.
Mayor Milch.
Present. Let's stand for the flag salute, please. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, we have a pretty long agenda tonight, but I don't expect it will take too long time-wise. I said that last time, and I think we kind of came out that way, so I'm hoping that'll be the case again. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Your
Nope,
turn.
you go right ahead, Counselor.
I need to pull number 1, please, the regular.
Oh, from the consent. I was first of all asking about additions or corrections to the total meeting agenda. So
I have nothing, thank you.
You have nothing. Okay.
Correct.
And now we'll look at the consent agenda, which includes approval of the minutes, our regular monthly reports. We have we're considering approval of a contract for the slurry seal project, approval of an IGA with Clackamas County regarding transportation controllers, which are traffic signals, and approving the authorization of the city administrator to approve an art easement for a mural project. So are there any items on this that a counselor would like to have pulled?
Yes, I need to
Counselor
pull number
Huckabee.
1, please.
Number 1, the approval of the May 9th minutes. All right. I can't remember. Do we vote to pull it out or we'll just allow that? Let's consider, first of all, the approval of the minutes, and then we'll go back to the remainder of the consent agenda. All right, Counselor Huckabee?
I need to pull the minutes because on page 1-6 and 1-7, there is a misquote. At the very, very bottom of 1-6 and very beginning of 1-7 that states that I urged everybody to visit our own Representative Vanessa Hartman's social media. And this can be found on her Instagram at Vanessa for Oregon. And I was referencing Anessa Hartman.
And
Not
I imagine
myself.
that's Anessa for Oregon.
Yes.
All right. I don't imagine that's the first time that mistake has happened, and it probably won't be the last, but thank you for noting that.
It happens all the time.
If you would approve that correction to the minutes, nod your heads. All right, I see. All right. So we've pulled that item. Do I have a motion to approve the May 9th regular minutes as amended? As corrected, I'll say.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve our minutes of May 9th with a correction noted. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the minutes as corrected are approved. Now, we have the other items on the consent agenda. Are there any other items that a council member would like to pull from the agenda, or are we really ready to approve them as a group? All right, I will accept a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's moved by Counselor Roberts, seconded by Counselor Alexander. So if you would approve the consent agenda, please indicate during the roll call vote. Tammy?
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the remainder of the consent agenda is approved as presented. The remainder of our agenda includes our monthly report from Clackamas Fire District. We'll have city event announcements. We'll have a discussion of the Gladstone Community Festival Agreement. We have, discussion of a resolution authorizing the renaming of our senior center. Then we have public hearings and votes related to budget items for the city and the Urban Renewal Agency. And finally, our business from the audience and business from the council at the end. All right, let's move on to item number 10. Do we have any correspondence, Administrator Betts?
I have nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 10, report from Clackamas Fire District number 1. Welcome, gentlemen. We are getting to know so many of your staff over the months because we rarely have the same people here. So if you will introduce yourselves, we'll get to know just that many more.
Absolutely. I'll lead off because I'm just going to introduce myself. But Brian Stewart, I'm the Assistant Chief with Clackamas Fire. I oversee strategic services and am the liaison with the City of Gladstone.
And my name's Dusty Mock, and I'm a lieutenant here at Gladstone. I'm a fairly new lieutenant. I've been here since February.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So I'll start off with, in the city of Gladstone, there was 256 total incidents. Engine 22 was on 136 of those incidents. And there was, so there's 256 total incidents that Engine 22 responded on. That's within the city and the outside, helping out with like Oak Grove and in downtown Oregon City. 136 of those incidents, Engine 322 was on within the city, and 150 of those incidents were in Gladstone. So I don't know if that just confused you all, but I kind of did myself. So that's the total report. I can restate that if need be. Some kind of upcoming events we have going on. June 21st is going to be the open house. So we're getting prepared for that and we're welcoming everybody. Looking forward to having all the members of the community come in and checking out the remodel of the new fire station. So it's looking really good. A couple of the 2 lieutenants that were at Gladstone that came over to Clackamas Fire, they've now taken lieutenant's test and they both passed the test. So they'll be probably getting promoted in the next year or 2. Hopefully that's going well. We've also given a couple tours to a couple elementary schools around. We've done that. And then another big one is AMR has started over at High Rocks. They start on Memorial Day and they go to Labor Day. So that's a big help within the city. And then we're going to be working on doing some joint training with them so we can work on communication and best access points to get patients in and out of High Rocks. There was one house fire within the city limits of Gladstone, and then we responded as well to a couple other fires that were over in Oak Grove to help them out. And you're going to be seeing more new firefighters. There's going to be quite a few new firefighters coming to the station, as well as a couple of new lieutenants. So you'll be seeing more new faces, I'm sure, at these meetings. The next big thing we have coming up is July 4th. There's a picnic that we'll be attending and helping out with. So it's kind of going on with Gladstone.
Any questions for the station officer?
Questions from counselors for Lieutenant Mock? Yes, go ahead.
So I would just like to say congratulations to our 2 new lieutenants. That's good news. I was going to ask about the 4th of July. Thank you for that. I'm happy for that. The other thing I was going to ask is in our packet, they had talked about the code enforcement section of our packet had talked about tall grass, people not mowing their lawns kind of thing. Is that something, Administrator Betts, we can add to the newsletter? Because it is before the 18th, you know.
If we could add what to the
Like
newsletter?
to remind people that mowing your lawns is really important for fire safety kind of thing.
Yeah, I do think that it is in Chief Schmerber's monthly cover letter, but we can certainly reiterate that into the newsletter as well.
I think that'd be kind of a good idea. So, okay. Other than that, welcome. Thank you. And I hope you're enjoying Gladstone.
It's great. Yeah. Kind of me.
Counselor Huckabee?
For those who aren't familiar with the picnic on the 4th of July, can you expand on that, please? What picnic are you going to?
It would be the Gladstone, City of Gladstone picnic. I believe we're going to be, well, the crew will be out visiting with the community, passing out helmets, taking photos, all those good fun things. And then I'm pretty sure that either Fire Chief Nick Brown or myself will be flipping hot dogs with Chief Schmerber.
And that's at Max Patterson Park.
Max
in the
Patterson
center of
Park.
town.
Yep. Yeah, July 4th.
July 4th. Oh, you're going to have it that day this year. Okay.
Yeah, this year. Just a couple other updates, kind of district-wide piece. And again, Kirk Stemple and Richard Newton have just been killing it. One of the things that we always appreciate and as we incorporate other organizations into Clackamas Fire is the talent and dedication that is brought with individuals. Those 2 have been fabulous, as has Rick Huffman. So they're on the list, and I look forward to them hopefully being promoted off of this list in the next year or so. District-wide. So interesting thing today. It is June 13th. It's not summertime yet, and we have just activated a task force to go to a fire, Hat Rock Fire out in Umatilla County. Several of the agencies, Aurora, Tualatin Valley, us, a couple others, Estacada, will be sending 4 Type 6 engines, which are the small brush truck type engines, and a water tender out to help them along with the task force leader. And then also today, one of the state incident management teams is being activated for the first structural protection assignment in the state out to Pendleton. So it could prove to be a interesting and active wildfire season. And speaking of wildfires, about a week and a half ago, we had a 20-acre fire out in Beaver Creek. So that was our first large fire over 10 acres within the district. Again, pretty early in the season for us. We were fortunate that ODF was available and could bring their airship in to start dropping some water on that. And we brought other local resources, including our hand crew and then the Coffee Creek hand crews. I think we had 3 of them there for that. Outside of that, a couple other pieces of celebratory nature. So we graduated 6 new firefighters on Thursday last week. So they were all laterals from different agencies. Super excited to have them joining us, and I'm sure they are happy to be back on the fire engines and running calls rather than taking tests. But we have 14 people taking tests coming up. Our apprenticeship academy started yesterday. So really excited to see them. It's a fabulous group. They're really engaged, excited, and they're going to learn a lot in the next about 4 months that they're going to be in the academy. And they'll be getting qualified to take our test come, I think the test is in January next year. Lastly, just found this out late this afternoon. There was some discussion at the county about what they were going to do with some ARPA grant funds. And it looks like Clackamas Fire will be administering about $1 million worth of funding that was scoped to work on a community paramedic program about 2 years ago. So we're going to make sure that we can meet the ARPA requirements and what our current what the current landscape shows. But Rick Huffman and I were chatting, and so he really summed it up as looking at improving community access to healthcare. Which can include 2 different things, including community paramedicine enhancements, as well as working on low acuity call responses. So some good stuff going on in the fire agency, and happy to answer any questions.
Any more questions? Well, we thank you for what you do locally. We're particularly grateful for the way that firefighting units all across the state work together on these issues that could be, more threatening to the outlying areas. And I'm glad that we've got so many people advancing in the program. It's a little harder for the police these days than it is for fire, but you have those crews and we feel secure, and we're glad that you're serving us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
All right, the next item on our agenda is our opportunity to share announcements of Gladstone City events. Tammy, do we have anybody who requested to do that from the community?
We have one, Bob Everett.
Bob, could you come forward, please?
Bryce joined me too, so. Evening, everyone. Again, thank you for having this little time that we can do a little bit of announcements. I'll keep it simple tonight. The bingo was supposed to be this Friday. We have decided to just put it off. We're going to sort of close down for the summer. We were going to not do it in July and August anyway. But with the nice weather and the warm weather, it looked like there were fewer people at the last one. So we've just decided we're going to wait till September and sort of start rolling again. We do appreciate everybody who showed up. And we've got some new plans for next season, I will say, and it should be a lot of fun, and also new individuals that we're going to partner with. Anyway, we're both up here also because for the festival. The next agenda item is the festival. So I didn't know whether we just sat here. I mean, Bryce is the chairman. He can certainly answer many of the questions you may have if you have any, and I'll do what I can. So, but I don't know if we just want to roll into the festival or not.
Actually, if you want to stay here,
Yeah.
we'll roll into that in a few minutes. I know there are some other events coming up this week. The fire chief alluded to the open house at the fire station this coming week. And that day, there's also another event.
The open house will be next week, June
Next,
21st, and also your groundbreaking for the library. Yes.
so those are both on Wednesday, the 21st, 1 week from tomorrow.
Yes, the library starts at 2 p.m. and after that will be the fire open house from 4 to 6 p.m.
And I will add that tomorrow night, I believe starting at 7 o'clock, is the graduation ceremony for Gladstone High School at the stadium. Traffic and parking might be tight during that time, so that's another thing to be aware of. Anything else coming up in the near future that we want to lift up?
I think you covered it.
Very good. All right, let's move on to that next agenda item then, while we have some community members here to answer any questions. Item number 12, Gladstone Community Festival Agreement. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, City Council. It's that time of year where you're looking for authorization for the city administrator to sign a Gladstone Community Festival Agreement. This year, the dates are August 4th through the 5th. We have Gladstone Oak Lodge Rotary Club here, Mr. Bob Everett and Bryce Colson, who's the chairman of the festival, to kind of just highlight the events that will be happening. And then if you have any questions, they'd be happy to answer them before you provide approval for me to sign the agreement.
Administrator Betts, the staff report includes some statements regarding cost impact. Are these items that are in the budget that we are anticipating approving later this evening?
Yes, they are included in the budget, and we are very happy to have this partnership with the Rotary to contribute to the safety of the event.
All right. Are there other questions from members of the council?
Just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would actually like to take a quick moment and thank a couple people. Tammy Vanek, Jackie Betts, both of you, you have really kept me on my toes, and also Haley Kratz. If it weren't for the three of them, I would have missed several city deadlines. And so thank you all. And then thank you to everybody for the city tourism grant. We're very excited to be recipients of that. And so we've managed to get bigger entertainment, bigger name entertainment. We're expanding the beer garden. We're doing all sorts of stuff with that money that's going to be free for everybody to enjoy. We don't charge anything to go on the inflatables or to go on to enjoy the music. It's all just free for the community. So thank you for helping make that happen this year.
I had one question. I recall that back in 2019, just before the pandemic started, there was some consideration of changing the date of the festival to earlier in the summer so that some more of the amusement park type equipment would be available for rental. You've shifted away from that and stuck with the traditional date.
That is very astute. So what happened is that we were reaching out. We had gone to meetings in person over at Funtastic on Powell, and I had called every single group from up and down the West Coast, all the way from Washington to Las Vegas. And the problem is that after we were too small of an event at first, and we were getting in on a little late, but then after COVID, everybody started working on skeleton crews. And so unless you were a huge event, like one of the state fairs in the area or something, it's just not going to happen until the job economy approves and these guys are operating on full crews again. So we decided the next best thing, and in retrospect, I think it turned out to be better, because with the inflatables, it really targets all those kids who want to do something. It kind of frees up the adults to go either hang out in the beer garden for a little bit or go and shop with the many local vendors. We get over 50 of them. And the best part is the kids get to play on it for free. If we had the rides, the kids would not be able to go on those for free. So yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Sometimes
Surprised you remembered.
sometimes
No, I'm impressed.
unexpected things happen for a good reason.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're sticking with a lot of tradition of the event and making it more accessible to the community. That's always a good thing.
Well, thank you.
And I also want to thank, of course, the city. Every year I thank the city. What you do for us is it's incalculable. I mean, it really truly is. The police department, fire department, they're not here. Everybody helping out. I can't thank everybody enough. I also wanted to mention that on Sunday, even though the car show is not associated with the festival per se, there will be a car show also on Sunday. That'll relieve Natalie of coming up and having to give an announcement, but there will be a car show then also on Sunday. So,
All right.
movie in the park, same things.
And one last thing, I would like to, we did get a new website, and that is now GladstoneCommunityFestival.com. Hey, look at that. Oh, it's coming up on the magic screen. There we go. So I just want to point out that this is a very expensive event to put on for everybody. And so we do need lots of donations and generous offers from the local businesses that make it all happen. So there's these tabs up at the top of our new website. There's the sponsorship one. Please go to that. We also have a new table sponsor. So if you want to get your name printed on a beer garden table, it's only $100. So it's a great way for people to come and join in the fun and get the recognition at a lower level. And then also, Tammy, would you please go to that main page again? The other thing is that this takes a ton of volunteers to make happen. And the biggest labor issue we have at the festival itself is running the inflatables. And so we do have this volunteer. If you click that gold volunteer button, it will take you to our volunteer website, whoever is listening in the town. Please sign up for this. You get a beer and a hot dog out of it. It's only a 2-hour shift. It's a ton of fun. You get a little megaphone that I call a moderate phone. So it is fun. And everybody who did it last year had a great time. So we need about 50 people. And then also at nighttime cleanup, which happens from midnight to about 2 a.m. It was us two and my dad last year until 2 a.m. So if anybody is a night owl around here, we could definitely use the help. And just thank you to the whole city for all your support. 10,000 people show up to this and we really appreciate every one of them.
Well, that's great. You've made it easier for the community to get involved, and that has made it easier for you. So congratulations on putting this together.
Work smarter, not harder.
Worked hard.
Exactly.
It's all Bryce's helps. All his stuff.
I will.
Really, it was 3 a.m, not 2.
Oh. Would anyone on the city council like to make the motion
make a-
recommended on
I'll make the
12-1?
motion.
All right.
That we authorize the city administrator to sign the Gladstone Community Festival Agreement and approve the noise variance application for the Gladstone/Oak Grove Rotary Club for the dates of August 4th through 5th, 2023.
May I make a correction to that? We're the Oak Lodge Rotary Club, Gladstone Oak Lodge.
Oh, yes, you're right. It said Oak.
Used to be.
Used to be Oak
Yeah.
Grove.
Okay.
All right.
Mayor, I believe Counselor Reichel has her hand up.
Councilor Reichel, go ahead.
I have a question before we motion, and Jackie can tell me if this is the right time to do so, but on page 12, on 12-4, there's a tiny little box that says that it's basically acknowledging the liability agreement, and that hasn't been checked. Do we need to get that corrected, or is that contained elsewhere in the documentation?
No, we'll need to have Bryce check that box.
Okay.
We will, because we change over, basically at the 1st of July, we will be getting a new policy as of the 1st of July. We
Okay.
could send you our policy now, but it's only good till the June 30th.
Right,
So,
gotcha.
okay, so, because that's sort of the year for Rotary in general. Okay.
So Councilor Reichel, you are recommending that box be checked on the revised policy that will be coming to us.
Correct. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I know that there's a lot to fill out on these forms, and I just happened to notice that it wasn't checked and wanted to make sure that we were covered on that little bit.
Thank you for catching that omission.
No problem.
All right, a motion was made. Did we have a second?
I can second now that we've got that.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Alexander, seconded by Councilor Reichel. Any additional discussion? There was some motion over here among the staff. Was that just to call our attention to Councilor Reichel? Okay. All right, Tammy, would you call the roll, please?
Counselor Reichel,
Yes, yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, motion approved. Thank you, Bob and Bryce.
Thank you. And we know that you'll all be in line to be the first ones in the dunk tank. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be a, the chief?
We do have a, on Saturday, I believe at 1 or 2:30, I'd have to check my schedule, but there's, we do have a Dunk-a-Chief competition. So thank you to Chief Schmerber and Fire Chief Brown for being willing to do this. And they sit there for about an hour taking turns getting dunked. And we made about $300 off of it last year. And that money always goes to one of the public safety programs. And so last year, I believe it went to police the bike helmets through the police department. I'm hoping to go through something fire related, like smoke alarms or something this year, but that's just thank you to them. It really does take the village, and thank you to everybody for your support.
Thank you. And thanks for this very thorough report. We'll have this reference for it in the weeks coming ahead. Thanks very much. All right. Next item, number 12, Resolution 1215, authorizing the renaming of the Gladstone Senior Center to Gladstone Community Center, the Spirit of Generations. We had a work session on this item. Tonight's our opportunity to take some action. Staff, will you present, please?
Thank you, Mayor, and that's correct. You did just have a work session on this item, and tonight we will be asking you to make the formal resolution adoption. I will have our Community Services Manager, Tiffany Kirkpatrick, just highlight some elements from the staff report.
Just a little background and history. Hello, everybody. The Senior Advisory Board has worked really hard over the last few months, lots of meetings and conversations about how to go about changing the name of the center. And it wasn't as hard as we imagined this time. I feel that the community is ready and was ready for this. So just a few months of conversations and surveying people in person, online, virtually. And really the group grew closer through this process because we all had to agree. And we came up with choices, which we of course shared at the work session and really worked through it. And so I'm very confident that this is the right direction for Gladstone to have a community center that focuses on multi-generational community as well as continuing to serve seniors in our community. We're already doing that work and we just want to really increase it and make more partnerships and find other maybe revenue avenues, which would be ideal. And doing some really fun things. And I also see the advisory council or advisory board growing. So we are on our way. We just need your permission to move forward. One of the questions that was brought up at the end of our work session was to make sure that we, made some contact with the current Gladstone Community Club. And so between myself and Mindy Prowski, who helped me as well, try to reach out to them. Finally, in the end, I believe it was just last week, Mr. Haltnier, does that sound right? Robert Haltnier. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but what a sweet man. He came to the center on a really hard day for me. And he just walked up and said, I'm with the club and I got your email today. And he told me why he doesn't post a number or whatever. Anyway, it's a long story, but he was completely open. And he said that he had mentioned it in the past before. So that was where I got that little tip that the conversation was started a while back, but COVID happened and that he would completely support that name change. And he doesn't feel that it would interrupt their service or business to rent their facility. He brought cards and some literature for me to share if people got that mix up. And he said he would do the same for us. And I also told him about lunch and he gave me to come there, that he is welcome because he is a senior also. And he gave me a big, huge hug, which was very heartwarming. And I felt like this is definitely supposed to happen. It was just very easy. It's just a matter of asking and letting people know what what your intentions are. So there was no threat there. It was just gold.
Very good. Well, that's why we have those work sessions to
Yeah,
sort out some
yeah.
of these issues, to help anticipate problems that we might not have thought about and get them resolved prior to taking action. So I'm glad that you had the results you did. Are there any questions from members of the council before we take a look at the resolution? All right. Resolution number 1215 is on page 13-3. And the recommended action is on page 13-2. So I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adopt resolution 1215, authorizing the renaming of the Gladstone Senior Center to the Gladstone Community Center, the spirit of generations.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Roberts, seconded by Counselor Huckabee. Any more discussion? Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. Tiffany, I didn't expect this to be as emotional a moment as it obviously is for you. We are grateful for all the effort that you have put in this to guide us to this point so far. And we are really eager to work forward with you as we put this forward in the future. Our next item, I think we are on resolution number 1216, declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. This is part of the some of our annual required things that seem a little routine, but are actually very important in the big scheme of things in terms of funding everything we do in the city. So let's hear a report on that, please.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. And I think after this year's budget committee process, we too got one big group hug afterwards. We met twice. We had an incredible budget committee this year. Once was on May 30th and the second was on June 13th. So our finance consultant, Kathy Brucker, is going to walk you through a series of resolution adoptions that we need to do tonight, starting with the state revenue sharing.
Yes. I'm sorry to say this won't be quite so heartwarming an experience, but it is very important and we're very satisfied that it's coming to a conclusion. As you know, this work starts back in December. So this is a culmination of about 7 months worth of work by staff and by the budget committee and the city council at the end. So we do appreciate this. This resolution, the first one here, is what the city needs to pass in order to receive state monies, state general fund monies that are used for any governmental purpose. It's satisfied by the public hearing held at the budget committee that we did on May 30th, 2023, and then at the city council level, which is what we are doing here tonight. At both meetings, the public has the opportunity to comment on the use of state revenue sharing funds. The city expects to receive approximately $310,000 in the 2023-2025 biennium. So needless to say, we will want to approve this so that we can receive that approximately $310,000 of revenue for general use. It does come into the general revenue fund. Staff will recommend adoption of resolution 1216. You all have your scripts as far as motions that need to be made. And so if there are any questions.
Any questions from members of the council? All right, we are required to give the public the opportunity to comment. Has anyone requested to speak on this issue tonight?
I have not received any requests.
All right, well, I will open it to public comment. Hearing none, I will declare the public comment closed. And we will move on to the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make that motion to approve resolution number 1216 for the city of Gladstone to continue to receive state revenue sharing in the 2023-2025 biennium budget.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Alexander, seconded by Counselor Roberts. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the resolution is passed, which is good because we included this revenue in our budget. So that's coming up. Next resolution, another state required resolution, number 1217. Staff?
So this next one is for the certification of provision of 4 or more services to qualify for state shared revenue for the 2023-2025 biennium. The city does provide more than 4 of the 7 required of the 7 services listed, so we are eligible for this. And this resolution will allow us to receive those revenues. As far as the amount of funds that we anticipate from this throughout the biennium will be approximately $2,449,090 for the 23-25, and that is what are commonly referred to as the sin taxes coming from the state, the liquor, cigarette taxes there, and also then the highway taxes that go into the roads and streets fund. So if there are any questions about that, otherwise we would recommend you approve Resolution 1217.
Yes, Counselor Garland.
Just a clarification, because I didn't bring my other book. I thought one of those that we had talked about was the marijuana tax as well. No, that's not included in
This is not included in this
Because
one. The
where is
marijuana
that?
tax is separate from these taxes.
separate in that we don't have to ask for it.
Correct.
Oh, I understood
Yes.
it as to be all of those. Okay.
Yes, no,
Good,
that
thank
is
you.
not included there.
All right.
Yes.
Some would say it falls in the same sin category, but yeah. All right, so we have the option of not adopting this and not accepting the money, or adopting this and accepting money that, as I will remind you, has already been included at our projected budget. Is there a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 1217 for the City of Gladstone to continue to provide 4 more municipal services listed in Section 1 ORS 221.760.
A second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Cook, seconded by Counselor Alexander. Tammy, any additional discussion? Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. The resolution is adopted. We move now to the next item, Resolution 1218, to adopt the 2023 to 2025 city biennium budget, set the tax rate, and categorize the taxes.
Yes,
Staff.
thank you. Yes, this is the big one. So state law requires that the city council adopt a budget prior to the end of the fiscal year, which ends June 30th, 2023. Beginning July 1, 2023, the city is working once again from a biennial budget, and the Budget Committee has recommended the attached budget and tax rate. The overall budget, including all funds, is $71,374,314. So City Council must adopt this budget prior to June 30th, as stated. And if it's not adopted by June 30th, the city's authority to spend money or incur obligations expires on June 30th. And also our ability to impose a property tax is also contingent on following the budget process. So are there any questions about this resolution? This is the resolution that does have 3 separate parts to it. So all 3 parts need to be adopted separately, please, or approved separately, I should say.
Okay.
Yes.
Our budget committee was presented with a proposed budget. We approved and recommended it to go on to the city council. So now what we have is described as an approved budget. And what we are hoping to achieve tonight is an adopted budget.
Correct.
There was opportunity for participation of the community in the budget committee meetings, but I also want to give that opportunity tonight. So I will recognize a motion to open a public hearing on the budget.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, it has been moved and seconded. And was it Counselor Huckabee? Did you make the motion? Counselor Roberts? Okay. Tammy, will you call the roll? Oh,
I think he was raising his hand to speak.
I think he would like to speak, and if we,
Motion to open.
once we open the public hearing, then we will call on members of the public to speak. Okay. Tammy, go ahead.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So the public hearing is now open. I recognize that we have a member of the public present tonight. Please come forward, state your name, and share your comments with us.
Name is John Kilstrom, a citizen, and I saw down at the bottom of the budget that there's other borrowings of $7,597,000. Where in the budget does it show that that's being paid off? Where does that come in?
Those borrowings are within the general fund. And they are portrayed in the debt service, which is under
Debt
additional
service?
information.
Yeah.
You can see all the information on it there.
Okay. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
The additional information section of the budget for people that have downloaded the packet tonight begins on page 89, and that's where debt service is broken down by category. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Mr. Kilstrom, for coming tonight and asking that question. Do we have any other members of the public who have asked to speak on the budget or ask any questions about it?
I have not received any requests.
All right. Anyone else here in person? I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the budget.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Cook, seconded by Counselor Alexander. Any discussion? Tammy, call the roll, please.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So the public hearing is closed. And now we move on to discussion among the council of the budget itself prior to taking these motions in order. Any other discussion from council members on the budget that was approved by the committee and presented to us? Counselor Garlington.
I would just like to go on record for all of my park friends to let them know that I tried really hard to get us more money. And the city is doing everything they can, and maybe next time.
All right, that's always the dilemma in city government is if we add money to one department, sometimes it means we take it from another, and those are the hard decisions we make. But we appreciate your consistency on this issue, Councilor Garlington. All right. Any other questions or comments? Yes, go ahead, Counselor Cook.
Quick comment on, and I know it's been said before, but I think the quality of the discussion, particularly from the citizen members of the budget committee, was just outstanding. It makes me really proud to be a part of the city of Gladstone, to see the engagement that we get from our community. And everybody should be very proud of how the process went.
I fully agreed. We started the process with 6 city councilors and 6 budget committee members. And somewhere along the way, one of our budget committee members became a city councilor. We had the same group of people we would have had. Some of the roles changed. But we were very sensitive about making sure that there were no issues that divided us between elected officials and appointed officials. And there weren't. We were pretty unanimous on the whole thing, other than maybe putting a little more money into parks. So thank you for that comment. When citizens step up and volunteer to serve in these ways, particularly some who have never done it in our city before, it's especially gratifying as elected leaders to know that we inspire that kind of volunteer involvement. So I also appreciated their work. Let's see, resolution number 1218. We have 3 different motions that we need to hear, and I'm awaiting them.
I move to adopt resolution 1218, adopting the 2023-2025 biennium budget in the sum of $71,374,314.
I second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Alexander and seconded by Counselor Reichel to adopt the budget. Any additional discussion? All right, Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the resolution passes. Now, we've talked about a couple of sources of income for this budget, but most of it needs to come from imposing a tax. So there's a second motion which we must deal with, and I will entertain that motion at this time.
I move to adopt resolution 1218 for both tax years 2023 through 2024 and 2024 through 2025, imposing the taxes at a rate of $4.8174 per $1,000 of assessed value for the permanent tax rate, and at the rate of 68 cents per $1,000 for the police and communications local option tax, and 31 cents per $1,000 for the fire and emergency medical local options tax.
Is there a second?
I second.
Counselor Roberts made the perfectly stated motion to impose the tax, and it was seconded by Counselor Alexander. Any further discussion? All right, Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the motion is passed. There are some legal requirements to categorize the tax that we have imposed, and so I will accept the third motion.
I move to adopt resolution 1218 for both tax years 2023 through 2024 and 2024 through 2025, categorizing the imposed taxes as follows. General fund, $4.8174 per $1,000 excluded from limitations equaling 0. Police and Communications Fund at 68 cents per 1,000 excluded from limitations equaling 0. And Fire and Emergency Medical Fund at 31 cents per 1,000 excluded from limitation equaling 0.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, now Counselor Roberts moved and Counselor Reichel seconded. Counselor Roberts made this motion with such confidence, and I know he understands the definition of every term. But for any of the rest of us who aren't as familiar, Kathy Brucker, could you just provide a brief explanation of what's meant by excluded from limitation?
Excluded from limitation would mean that these are fully taxable under the current laws as far as the amounts that we're stating here, as far as our permanent tax rate of 4.8174 and the 0.68 and the 0.31. They are fully they're legally able to be assessed.
Very good. All right, any discussion from members of the council? Tammy, will you call the roll, please, on the third motion?
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the third motion has passed. All right, the next item or next action is to adjourn as a city council and reconvene as an urban renewal agency for the purpose of adopting the budget for the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency. So I declare us adjourned as a council, or in recess as a council, and reconvened as an urban renewal agency. And staff, will you present the report on the next item for us?
I think the first item is for you to approve the Urban Renewal Agency minutes of May 9th, 2023.
Okay, and those are in 17-1, and there is We don't have an actual, a description of the motion to be made, but, okay. Oh, it's on the back. Okay. Oh, that's right there too. Yes, please. Let's have the motion for that.
I move to adopt resolution UR 72, adopting the 2020.
Oh, wait, well, not yet.
Just a moment.
Yeah, I
We
think.
need to- The minutes.
Yeah,
please.
okay. So what we just need then on page 17-1 of our packet are the minutes of our May 9th, 2023 Urban Renewal Agency meeting. So is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
And is a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Reichel, seconded by Counselor Huckabee. Any questions or discussions? This particular meeting just involved a transfer within the organization unit categories of some of the funding related to the library, the demolition costs of that. As you recall, we did that at an earlier city council meeting last month. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tammy Bannock, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the minutes are approved. Now we will move on to resolution UR 72, which is the resolution to adopt the biennium urban renewal budget that was recommended by the Budget Committee. So Kathy Brucker, go ahead and present this item.
So this, as you say, is the adoption of the biennium urban renewal budget and declaration of tax increment for the 2023-2025 tax years. So state law requires that the Urban Renewal Board adopt a budget prior to the end of the fiscal year, just as we did with the city, which ends June 30th, 2023. And this is the attached budget that came from the Budget Committee and the tax rate. The overall budget is $5,227,997 for the biennium. The tax increment remains unchanged as far as the calculation that is applied against the urban renewal amount. We're requesting the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by what is called dividing the taxes method under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution. And then there is $0 being requested that would be raised through the imposition of a special levy. There is no special levy associated with this agency at all. So we request that the budget be adopted and resolution UR 72 be considered for approval. Do we have any questions about this one?
All right, this is another item that came to us as a recommendation from the Budget Committee. During the Budget Committee meetings, there was opportunity for community input on this, but I want to provide the same opportunity tonight. So is there a motion to open a public hearing on the budget for the Urban Renewal Agency?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's moved by Counselor Roberts, seconded by Counselor Alexander. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So the council, the Urban Renewal Agency has approved opening the public comment for this item. Tammy Bannock, are you aware of anyone who was asked to comment on this item from the public?
I have not received any requests.
All right. Is there anyone present tonight who would like to comment on this item? All right. I will accept a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's moved by Counselor Reichel, seconded by Counselor Alexander. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. The public hearing is closed. We make those motions to, to stick with our obligation to be sure that we give that opportunity. Sometimes we have people who want to comment, sometimes we don't, but regardless, we make the motion anyway. So now we are ready to to hear the motions regarding the adoption of the budget. Would anyone like to make motion number one?
I'll try it again.
All right.
I move to adopt resolution UR-72, adopting the 2023 through 2025 biennium budget in the sum of $5,227,997.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Alexander, seconded by Counselor Huckabee. Is there any discussion from members of the Urban Renewal Agency? All right, we will take a vote on the matter then. Tammy, call the roll, please.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the motion passes. The budget is adopted. There's also required a resolution regarding the declaration of the tax increment. Would any member of the Urban Renewal Agency like to tackle this one?
Why not?
Counselor Roberts.
I move to adopt UR-72, declaring the tax increment to remain unchanged for both tax years 2023 through 24 and 2024 through 25. The Urban Renewal Agency of the Gladstone Urban Renewal District hereby resolves to request the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution, and $0 as the amount to be raised through the imposition of a special levy.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's moved by Counselor Roberts, seconded by Counselor Reichel. Any further discussion? Tammy, call the roll, please.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the motion is adopted. Thank you, Kathy,
Thank
for
you.
all your work with our committee. It's a smooth process with the excellent help that we get from staff. So we are very grateful to your involvement with this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Absolutely,
preparing such
thank you.
clear motions.
Yeah. My pleasure.
All right, I hereby adjourn the Urban Renewal Agency meeting and reconvene as a regular city council. The next item on our agenda is business carried forward. Is there any business carried forward to deal with tonight? Administrator Betts.
I have nothing. Thank you.
All right. This is the time when we allow public comment, business from the audience. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Speakers may not yield their time to others and must fill out a speaker card available in the back of the room or must have made a request to speak prior to the meeting. I notice on the agenda is the introduction of Alex Lopez, Deputy District Director to Congresswoman Lori Chavez de Reamer. Are we going to start with that? Is that the plan?
That can be the plan, yes.
All right. I will recognize Alex Lopez. Please come forward, state your name, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, as mentioned, my name's Alex Lopez. I'm the Deputy District Director for Congresswoman Lori Chavez de Reamer. Thank you for having me here. It's a beautiful day. And first, I'd like to say that, as Deputy District Director, my role is to be, your point of contact from her office, dealing with anything related to federal issues. As you all know, constituent outreach and work are at the heart of public service, and all of you are on the front lines of that. And I'm sure, over the time of your service, you've had citizens come to you with many problems, maybe not just local ones. And if you ever have constituents or concerned citizens that need help with navigating the federal government, that is what I am here for. Recently, the Congresswoman's office has had almost 300 case requests since she's been inaugurated. And we've solved about 150, between 150 to 200 of them, and we still have about an active 100 right now. So we're always eager and ready to help the next citizen with navigating the federal government. And in addition to constituent work, I'm also always available to discuss federal legislation or federal appropriations, details as well as information and grant opportunities to the city. And, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I have some business cards to pass out as well. I'd also love to hear any questions or concerns that you might have. If I can't answer them directly, I would love to direct you to one of the members of our staff that can get a better answer to you than I might be able to. So, but again, I'm just here to introduce myself. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. You can pass those cards to our city recorder, and she'll make sure that everyone gets one. And if we have questions and comments, we can reach out to you or the Congresswoman. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, we'd like to hear from members of the public who have requested to speak in the order that they made their request. Tammy Bannock.
The first will be Claire Coy, and she's on Zoom, so hold tight while we get her on Zoom.
Thank you very much.
Claire, you should be able to accept. Claire, you can unmute yourself.
Got it. Okay, I'm here.
Welcome. You're on.
Okay, great. Okay, so well, tonight I'm not going to be passing out any high fives like the rest of the meeting, but you guys have done a great job laying the groundwork for me about the importance of volunteers in our community. At last month's meeting, you appointed members to open positions on boards. I had applied to the Traffic Safety Board. In Ordinance 1484, under Article 2.60.020 for membership and qualifications, it states, whenever possible, the person will be appointed who has demonstrated interest, experience, or expertise in some area of traffic planning and design construction. My question to you tonight is, since there was a clear disregard of my experience and background, can you please answer what metric was used to determine the voting choice, if not those of our written charter and municipal codes? It is your duty as council members, and you took an oath to fairly represent each and every community member. So if the board selection process is going to be ignored, then as community members, we should be able to ask why. It is your duty as council. You took oath to vote into action what is good for the community, setting aside all personal agendas by solemnly swearing you will support the charter and municipal codes of the city of Gladstone. That should sound familiar to you all. So as a transportation industry professional of over 25 years, as well as a Gladstone resident, I wholeheartedly believe I was the candidate that would have been more knowledgeable and impactful on that board. My opponent had lived in Gladstone for 6 months and listed no interest or history in transportation. With that said, it is also important that all council members are reading their material ahead of the meetings and forming their own opinions about who to vote for based on community needs. In the voting, one counselor said, "I guess I'll go with Killstrom." This doesn't sound as though this counselor read the material at all. So this is just maybe a reminder of your sworn duty and what you agreed to do on behalf of every citizen. Please take a step back and maybe a moment of personal reflection and ask yourself, if the applications were turned in with no names on them, making it possible to set aside all personal and political agendas, Would the outcome have been the exact same? I've been involved in the community a long time, raising my family here, and have been elected to one of the boards in the past. You want community members to be involved. So ask yourselves, am I personally fulfilling my duty to the citizens? How do we be sure we're upholding our sworn duties while also fostering an open and honest culture so that your community members want to either become involved or stay involved in volunteering?
Thank
It
you,
doesn't-
Claire. Thank you, Claire. Your time is up. We appreciate your comments.
Okay, I was just about done, so.
Thank you. All right. Tammy, do we have another member of the community?
Yes, the next is John Kilstrom.
John, will you come forward? You stated your name earlier. You have 3 minutes to make your comments.
I just have a question on the consent agenda. Where do I find that and how do I know what's going on there? Because I see things in here that I don't remember being discussed at the last city council meeting. You know, and one of those actually involves the transportation committee. And so where do I find this information on the consent agenda?
So you just have that question, procedural question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On the city's webpage for agendas of meetings, there are 2 items. One is agenda, one is packet. The packet is a PDF document that's about this thick, which includes each item on the agenda in a separate category and more detailed information about those agenda items. We publish the agenda in short form to let you know the basic topics, but the longer form items, for example, the intergovernmental agreement regarding traffic signal updates in our city. That detailed information can be found in the packet.
Is that a discussion somewhere or is that just informational and then who approves it? How does it get approved?
It comes before the council members read it. It's on the consent agenda if it's an item that perhaps has been discussed prior to that in a work session or has been distributed to the council and is expected not to be controversial in its nature.
Okay.
But we always give councilors the opportunity to pull items from the agenda if they want to go into them in more detail, as you saw tonight with the minutes of the meeting.
Right.
But it could have been one of the contract items as well.
Right.
So thank you for giving us the opportunity to educate you and the rest of the community on that process that may not be clear to everyone.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Tammy, is there anyone else?
I have not received any additional comments.
Okay.
A question.
Yes, Counselor Cook.
I just have a quick question. So Mr. Kilstrom, I think, brings up a good point about the accessibility of the agenda packet. You know, these babies are pretty darn thick. And if you're trying to look at this on your phone or an iPad or a computer, it can be challenging. So just for my knowledge, if a member of the community wants to access this information in paper, can they come to City Hall and request a paper copy?
Absolutely. We have a copy available that they can review here if they'd like. I also talked to Mr. Kilstrom before this meeting about getting him his information for the traffic safety board that he is currently on, and his preference is mailing. So yes, we have other means besides a computer of accessing that information.
I believe at one time, the public library in Gladstone also made copies of our agendas available or our packets available. I don't know if that's still going on, but that's something else we could consider too. If it isn't, to try to have a printed packet there for people to review in the library.
If I don't have a computer, I go to the library. Publish this out $10.70.
Oh, well, and as Councilor Cook pointed out, sometimes it's so long that I find it downloading on my iPad. I get most of it in, and then all of a sudden it tells me it can't finish. So occasionally we do need to break it down into a couple little documents so that you can get the one that you can fit and download conveniently. All right. Next item on the agenda is business from the council. Let's see. We will start in the middle and work our way to the outside. So Councilor Reichel, would you mind if we started with you?
I do not mind at all. Not a whole ton to share with everyone other than Parks Advisory Board met last night and got some updates. I'm just grabbing that real quick. So just as a heads up, the play structure for Meldrum Bar, there's a couple of design options that have been chosen by the board, and examples of those will be posted, I believe, at Meldrum, and also probably over at Max Patterson for the community to review and provide their input as well. And then we should have installation sometime in the fall. And right after that, then the Robin Hood Park updates will also be installed this fall. And it mostly has to do with just the process of choosing for Meldrum and then ordering the product. And so we're kind of looking at fall of this year, which is very exciting. Still in the process of getting the paved trail project for the nature park finalized. It's been approved, but it still has to go through a whole system of approvals through various state departments. So we're looking at probably spring next year for the actual paving project to be completed. And then I think we've already mentioned the porta potties at High Rocks have been installed and are there for use now. So that's pretty much what I've got.
Thank you, Lou. Councilor Reichel. Councilor Cook.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a topic to share today. It is a bit of a challenging topic, so I want to just speak for myself. But I think that our community deserves to have something acknowledged. So this is a challenging time. It's Pride Month, which, there's a lot to celebrate there. But currently, it's currently popular in some circles to ridicule and harass queer and trans people, including children. Some states are using legislation as a weapon to harass and drive trans people out of their states. And this greater cultural environment is having an effect on our kids. Some quick statistics: queer youth are more than 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. Having at least one accepting adult in their lives reduces the risk of suicide in queer youth by 40%. Queer youth who have high levels of social support from their family reported attempting suicide at less than half the rate of those who felt low or moderate support from their families. This is a national issue that's going on. This is not specific to Gladstone. I am choosing to bring it up here because it came home to us this week. Last Thursday afternoon, I got a call from a community member asking for help. A 14-year-old trans child from our community took their own life the night before, and a few trans teens and their parents were gathering together to grieve. I apologize, I tried to be composed. I spent some time talking to these teens and their parents and listening to the challenges that they're facing. Thank you, Jack. Queer and trans kids are not at greater risk of suicide because there's something wrong with them. They're at greater risk because they're living in an environment that is exceptionally hostile to them. Being a parent is always hard. You always worry about your kids. There's no one I know who's more afraid right now than the parents of trans teens. Knowing the ongoing hate and hostility that your kids are facing on a daily basis, often from people in authority, is horrific. My call to action here is for parents. Make sure your kids know that you love and support them unconditionally. There's a difference between being tolerated and being embraced. Make sure your kids know that you love, affirm, and support them no matter what. If you're not there, if that's not where you're at as a parent, and you need help getting there, reach out to PFLAG, Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. We have all been raised in a world that is hostile to queer people, and it takes time to unlearn these ideas and be the support that your kids need. Everyone should understand that every anti-trans joke, every derisive comment is adding another burden on the queer people who are living in a hostile world. To my fellow counselors and city staff, we have opportunity to actively embrace all people in our community, including our queer and trans youth and adults. As business comes before the council, we should be actively considering how it affects this vulnerable community. For the queer children in our community, the queer teens, thank you for the light, the brilliance, and the joy that you are bringing into this world. We love you and we need you here in Gladstone.
Thank you, Counselor Cook. Counselor Alexander.
Well, I'd like to thank Counselor Cook for being there for that family and give them our condolences. And besides that, I had nothing to say except hi, David. I haven't seen you in a long time. Glad to see you on Zoom. Thanks for attending the meeting. Yeah. That'll do it.
Nice to see you too. Thank you.
Counselor Alexander was greeting David Doofman, our longtime city attorney, who we don't see as often as we used to, but he is here with us tonight. So, David, welcome. Counselor Roberts.
I have nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Counselor Huckabee.
Sorry. Okay, some updates. Can I have tissues, please? I apologize. I'm also suffering from some laryngitis, so I apologize. You can't hear me very well. Okay. On June 5th, Councilor Cook, Mayor Milch, Administrator Betts, and I attended the Clackamas County Business Alliance Dinner with other elected officials from around the county. We learned from attending mayors what they were excited about in their cities and also some of the challenges they're facing. Topics included I-205 tolling, how to help our houseless neighbors, and new state legislation. As usual, Mayor Milch did an excellent job representing our city. On June 6th, I attended the 42nd anniversary celebration of our senior center. It was a nice event with music from Ray Gordon, food and community. It was neat to see pictures from the past over 4 decades of our senior center and the community that has been involved with it. I was there for an extended amount of time. I was provided a rundown of the center's food pantry by 2 of our hardest working volunteers, Audrey and her husband, Dave. We have some great partnerships, and if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity in the community, the senior center is a fabulous one. On June 9th, I attended the Community College's Summer Connections event, which celebrates both Juneteenth and Pride Month. A few other local elected officials were in attendance, such as Representative Vanessa Hartman, County Administrator Gary Schmidt, and County Clerk Catherine McMullen. It was a well-attended event. There was lots of info booths that included some really cool swag, drag queen bingo, and performances from them. It was an amazing event that bringing community together, and I encourage more of our council to attend in the future, which would be next year, by the way. To touch on what Councilor Cook was discussing. Late last week, 2 of us on this dais right now were called in to support some of our local families, their parents, and our trans youth who lost a friend to suicide. This was a young 14-year-old trans individual. Earlier this year, when we set up our goals, the council made a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. As of yet, we have not had that training. I know that it's important to all of us because we all agreed that it is a council goal and that we want to work towards it. So I would just like to reaffirm my commitment to our community, our LGBTQ families and kids, that I will continue to work to move our city in that direction. We have a lot of growth to do. And I also want to move us away from tolerance into celebration, and recognizing all of our queer youth and our LGBT community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Huckabee. Councilor Garlington.
Well, that's an awful thing that's happened. I just cannot even imagine as a parent having to lose a child. And my heart goes out to that family, and I hope that they reach out for help. Obviously they have, and they found the right people. So I can support you and you can support them. Just know that. I'd also like to say congratulations to the Gladstone High School class of 2023. We all have stood at that line and gotten that diploma, and it's an exciting night for them. And I hope that all of them find their future in the place that they want it to be, and that they look ahead and never behind. I was going to thank the staff for our budget. I know that takes an enormous amount of work, a lot of hours. So Kathy, Jackie, and all of your team, we appreciate all the hours that you all put in to do that. And I'm sure a little bit of brain racking goes in and on that. So the only other thing I just want to throw out there is if anyone had thought about changing the name of our Gladstone Senior Center Advisory Board to the Gladstone Community Center Advisory Board, just throwing it out there, putting it in the thought process. And I think that's all. And I hope to see everybody next Wednesday or the 21st for our fun events, the 4th of July. And I'd just like to remind everyone in Gladstone that might be listening, Gladstone has an ordinance that fireworks are illegal. They bother people's dogs. That's important to our dog owners. And so your consideration for your neighbor is at the utmost of importance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Garlington. The graduation of the high school is on the top of my list of things too, because I have three family members who will be graduating tomorrow night, and I will definitely be there supporting them and supporting the rest of the class. I've been to a lot of school-related events in the past couple of weeks, starting with the school board where I serve as liaison. They approved their budget. They go through a similar process that we do. They don't have the luxury. Well, I don't think any of us have the luxury of knowing whether we're going to get any money from the state this year because things seem to be on hold. But where they are hopeful that that their funding will come through as some of these issues at the legislature get worked out. I attended City Administrator Betts and I attended the C4 retreat. This is a retreat of leaders in Clackamas County, mayors, council, county commission members. Our focus was on two primary issues, homelessness and tolling. And our own representative, Anessa Hartman, was in attendance and provided some real good information on things from the state perspective on the tolling issue. I was also sort of unexpectedly invited to appear on a local television program that features local mayors and had a chance to say a few things about both our schools and the tolling issue and announce that we had our library groundbreaking coming up, which is the other event I'm really looking forward to this coming week. I wanted to say a little more about some of the items that have been just talked about tonight by other council members. How much we offer to help other people, like so much else, depends on whether we see them as sharing a part of our identities. The philosopher Peter Singer refers to this idea as a moral circle, the boundaries of which determine who is deserving our concern and, of course, who is not. Many of the things that we now consider fundamental human rights, like free speech, freedom from oppression, and voting, have expanded over time from privileges possessed only by a few in our society and the ruling classes to larger groups. The expansion of rights to women, ethnic, racial, and religious minorities, the LGBTQ community, and so on, can be understood as a widening of what Peter Singer calls this moral circle. The boundaries of our identities are not fixed. They can vary across time and situations based on what is most salient. Well, Martin Luther King may have been right when he said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." The people we feel a responsibility to help and care for in any given situation is fluid. I appreciate that we have caring people in this community at all levels, volunteering in our schools, reaching out to children. I remember the experience that we went through as a community during the ice storms when people pulled together and provided meals and warmth and care to those who were most affected by that. We had a large area devoted to helping people who were evacuating during the fires in Labor Day weekend of 2020 also here in our community. We are people who care for one another and who help people feel that they belong. That's a great quality in a city. And I think I speak for all of us. Gives us great pride in serving a city that has those qualities. We can do better. We can improve. We can widen that moral circle to include more people than it currently does. We may do that on an individual level. We may do that sort of officially as a community. But that's the direction that I see us moving. And I'm pleased to serve this community because of that. I don't have anything else tonight. Upcoming meeting dates, City Council, we have a work session on June 27th, and our next regular City Council meeting will be July 11th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Councilor Roberts moved, Councilor Alexander seconded that we adjourn the meeting. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Cook,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the meeting is adjourned at 8:02 p.m. Thank you for coming tonight.